Hello. So today I received a request for a video that I had done on Ustream a while back, and apparently it's no longer available. And so the video where I showed the product is just me showing the finished product, and no one can see how to do it. So I'm going to show you I'm going to make one. This one's gonna be a little bit bigger and a lot different. I'm going to make a more masculine version of it in the end. But I'm not going to decorate it with you and everything because you guys can figure that out. What I'm going to do is show you how to make the dimension, or show you the dimensions and show you how I put it together. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to, like I said, make it a little bit bigger so you can change the dimensions and make it a little smaller if you want to once you learn how. It's really easy. It's actually pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my dimensions, and we're just going to go and get right started. You need a lot of chipboard for this, so all of mine are scrap pieces that I used, that I had around that happened to be the right length, so I just had to cut a little bit to make them work. So my first piece is 7.5 by 4. That's my base. That's my bottom piece, and you can tell that it's ripped up because I've already done this once and I messed up big time, so I started over. I'm doing a whole new video, so bear with me a little bit. This is the bottom. This is going to be the bottom piece, and none of this is going to show, so it doesn't matter. This piece is 7.5 by 4, like I said. This piece is going to be the back piece, and this is 7.5 by 4.5. This piece is going to be the middle piece, and this piece is 7.5 by 4. And this is the front piece, and this is 7.5 by 3.5. So you'll notice that each of my standing pieces are staggered by 1/2 inch, okay? It's really quite simple. And then the only other thing that you need is 2 more pieces of chipboard that are 4 inches by, mine are 4 inches by 3 3/4. And the reason for that is because I cut it to the height where it's going to join up with the back piece, and then I rounded mine too, and I'll show you how I did that. So let's do that real quick, and then we'll get to putting it together. So for your sides, what you want to do is you have 3 pieces, so you want to find your middle of your piece here. Okay, you're going to find your middle, and then you're going to mark it. And then the first thing that you do is your back needs to match up perfectly. See how they match up and square up? You need it to do that, okay? Then you're going to take your middle piece and you're going to line it up and make a mark right in your middle section. And then you're going to take your front piece and you're going to put it right at the beginning of that square and line it up and make a mark. Then you're going to cut it so that it will be rounded and kind of curved like that, and that's how it will match up with all of your sides. Okay, and then you do that for both sides, and it works out really well. I did my tops rounded like this, curved, and you can do anything that you want really to them. You could edge punch them, you could just leave them squared if you wanted to. Really, it doesn't matter. I just chose to curve mine because I liked the way that it looked. And then because I curved them, it's a lot harder to wrap paper around them and have it look really nice. And so what I did is I embossed mine with silver embossing powder. And the reason I chose to do that is because I'm going to put mine together with silver duct tape. And so I thought it would match. And then my silver would be the base color of my box, and everything would line up all nice and pretty. So I went ahead and I've already covered all of them with the embossing powder, so you wouldn't have to watch that. The only thing that I did differently is I covered the front and back of the sides. I did not worry about the back sides of my pieces there, because it's not gonna show as much. And then what I'll do is after it's all together, I will be putting pattern paper on the front of it. If you choose to, you could paint it. You could paint just the edges too so that they don't show. However you want to make it look better. Okay? So now we can go ahead and get started. What you're going to need to start is you're going to start off with your back piece and your bottom piece. Okay? cut off a length of duct tape that is at least longer than the 7 inches, or the 7.5 inches. So it needs to be at least longer than the length of your piece. Okay. Then what we're going to do is, oops, I forgot a step, sorry. You also want to find the center of this. This is my bottom piece, which is 7.5 by 4. You want to find the center and draw a line. See, like I did there? Because that's where you're going to put your middle piece, so that's important. Then all you're going to do is lay this down on the duct tape, or if you're using a cardstock hinge, you just do it the same way, just with the hinge. And then you're going to line up your back piece on the duct tape as well. Leave a little gap, and then fold up your pieces. And the nice thing about using the duct tape on the chipboard is that it came up really easy when I ripped it up. So, but I think it will hold good because I'm covering it well enough. Then I'm going to take another smaller piece of this, and I'm just going to place it. Nope, this piece is a little too big. I don't want to wrap it around again. I just want to cover what's not covered here. Like so. So you just put that on there like that. Press it in really good and then fold it up, and it should fold up really well, and you'll see your front there. Then we're going to take our front piece, which is the smaller piece, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut a length of duct tape, lay it down. I may have cut this one a little bit too long. Lay it down and take your bottom and place it on the duct tape just like so. Press it in really, really well. Take your front piece, making sure that whatever you chose to be the front, if you painted it or edged it or whatever, that's in the front, or that's going to go down, okay? Then just lay it down there like that with a gap, a little gap, and bring your extra duct tape around. I like to use my bone folder to make sure it really sticks in, and then I also work it into the gap there. And then just work your folds a little bit. You just have to work the duct tape a little so that it stays up, or so that it will allow it to bend. Then we're just going to cut a little piece, and we're going to apply it like so. Again, work your centers there. There we go. So now you can see we have the starting of a box. Okay. And now, just to keep things interesting, we're going to do our sides here. Make sure that when you do your side that your tall part is towards the back. Okay. We're just going to cut a little length of duct tape here. And for this one, I like to put the side on it instead of putting it on the back. And I actually don't want this here yet, so I'm going to remove the excess that I left on there. Just like so. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to line it up there, making sure to leave a little tiny gap. Just like that. Okay, and then just to keep it easy, we'll do the same thing on the inside, except this, we're just not wrapping it around, just making sure that it is the length to fit, and it doesn't need to be perfect even. Just allowing us to attach this piece to that piece. Okay? Then we're going to do the same thing with the last side here. Make sure that your back lines up with the back. So your tallest portion of it is towards the back, okay? Okay. Just gonna lay that down on there like so. Take that off and that off. Just like that. And then apply this. Make sure your backs line up there. Line it up, fold it up. It works. Press it down really well. Turn it over and work the adhesive all on the bottom there. Okay, and then one more little piece right over the top of that. And there we have it. Okay. And now you can see how it's going to start to come together. You have a little box there. Now what we're going to do is our middle section. This gets a little bit more complicated, but it's not hard, trust me. What we want to do first is cut off a section. This part is the part where it would be easiest if you were using cardstock as your hinge, but it's not hard to do it this way either. It's just a little bit different, that's all. I like using duct tape because then I don't have to apply the adhesive. It kind of takes out a step here. Okay, so now I have a piece of duct tape on the back side of this, and I want to press it in really good. Okay, and then what I want to do is take my piece here, and I'm going to fold up this piece of tape like this and hold it up because I don't want it to stick down before I'm ready for it to stick down. And I'm going to find my line, and this piece is going to go right on my line. That's how you make sure that it goes in there straight, okay? Then I'm just going to release the duct tape a little bit, not press it down, and use my bone folder, and I want to run it right up along the edge there, and that will help make sure that we get a nice crisp edge and it's stuck down just right. Then we apply, push the duct tape down, set it in there really well, and then you can see what we have. It's standing up there. But what we're going to do is one more step just to help it stay standing. We're going to take another piece and we're going to apply this to the front of our board, making sure not to stick it down prematurely, just like that. And then we hold it up. We do the same thing, bring our board up, and then just release the tape, don't press it down, and then run your bone folder right along the edge there like that. And then you can press it down. And don't worry too much if it crinkles like that, it's okay. Okay, so there we have that. And now we're going to do the sides. Okay, I'm going to start off with the sides here. You don't want this to have any moves, so we're going to do the same thing that we just did to the bottom, to the side, except it's going to be a little bit trickier. This is where the cardstock would be handy. So we're just going to take a little piece of the tape. You do not want it to overlap like this one does. All I'm going to do is take this just like that, remove it, and then I'm going to fold this one back. I'm going to lay my board down like this. Whoops. Try to get it as centered as you can, and then do the same thing when you get it on there. Don't press it until you have it in the corner. Get it right up to the edge there, and that will allow it to not move as much. Okay, and now that's going to help hold it, but what we're going to do is, instead of applying it to this side as well, because it's going to be a little bit complicated, what we're going to do is on the other side we're going to apply it to the front. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to put this on the front of my box. And really, if you're worried about it matching, just only apply it to the front or to the back, whichever you prefer. What I should have done, you know what, I'm going to take that back. I'm only going to put mine on the back, because then I'm going to cover this, and I don't want to do that. I want the I want that to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply that right to the back of my chipboard here, to the right to the back of my middle there. And then I just need to remove that section of it. And bring this up. Actually, I want to do it like this. It's easier, instead of bringing it up, it's easier to do this step if you just you can't seem to get it in the right spot there. There we go. Okay. So that's that, and that is, it feels pretty sturdy, so I don't need to worry about the front part too much. All right, next up, I'm going to grab a piece like this, and then I'm going to take this, and I'm actually not going all the way to the top because I don't want to mess with my decoration there. I don't want to make it look silly, so I want to keep that to give it its look. So all I'm doing is just placing this right along the bottom portion to hold my box in its box shape. me do an extra piece on the back because I can go a little bit higher. All you really need to do is just pay attention to where your things are, and then you don't have to worry about it staying together. It will stay together pretty good, I think. And you don't want to cover your, if you did do anything, you don't want to, if you did anything to the top portions, you don't want to cover that. If you didn't, well then this would make a really nice, actually this box would look kind of cool if it was all duct taped together for like a,
I'm watching My Little Pony, but it's not working.
Okay, ask Kenzie to help you, would you? Okay, thank you. That was my niece. So there we have it. That is our box. What you could do is in the back here, you could even make a divider here, and then do it just like you did the center one here. Make another divider in between here, and then you could have, you know, scissors or tools or whatever in there. But anyways, that's your box, and now you can decorate it. You can put your paper on here, however you wanted to bring it together. Whatever you wanted to do to it, now is the time to do that. If you wanted to, you know, cover it or paint it, you could do whatever you wanted to it. I think I'm going to tape the whole back of it at least as my way of covering the chipboard. And so all I did here is I cut it where it's lined up. This doesn't want to cut very well. There we go. I just cut a little bit of it away from the board so you can still see my silver, but really it doesn't really matter. I think I could just cover the whole thing. I don't think duct tape would be too hard to cover over that. But anyways, you get the idea, and now you know how it comes together. I hope you like it. I hope you make it. And if you do, I would love to see it. So send me a picture in an email. Let me just cut this off here, and then we'll be all set. There we go.
Really puked, Auntie.
Okay, thank you. I'll come and clean it up. So you're all set, and it's all good. Have a good day.